Anything you want to ask me?
Oh gosh. Let's see. Oh man, anything I want to ask you. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this over the phone and things like that, but I love hearing your story about how you did start Enduro Bites and like what the inspiration was for Enduro Bites and just how you grew it from there.
Okay. Well, I mean, I worked for another nutrition company for quite a few years, starting not too long after college. Um, I did a whole lot of different positions within that company, but for the last handful of years or more, I was doing product development amongst other things, online marketing and such. Um, this was bodybuilding, strength training supplements. Quite a little bit of a departure from what we do now. But my heart was in cycling. I started as a BMX rat I think I started racing when I was 12. So I've always had cycling in my blood, even though there was a period of my life where I just worked out in the gym and was into bodybuilding. I eventually found my way back to cycling, or cycling found its way back to me. So that's been my passion. So anything I did in that bodybuilding realm, I was at the same time looking at how it could benefit me or how I could use it or improve it to benefit for what I was doing or what my friends were doing. Been lucky enough to live in Colorado Springs since college, and I have had some very high level athletes that I get to train with. You know, I'm the slow guy that they get to wait for, and some have become very good friends of mine. So I get to bounce ideas or test formulations or flavors off them. And initially I just did it as kind of a fun thing, something I might have a product, a prototype with me. But eventually I was drawn to making very high level products for endurance athletes. I looked at the marketplace, and there's a lot of glorified candy bars and snack bars out there, but in most cases there's not a lot of thought put behind the products on the marketplace that are marketed to endurance athletes. Often they are some snack bar that someone came up with, and someone says, hey, some marketing person says, hey, let's sell this to runners or cyclists or triathletes. It wasn't developed with them in mind from the beginning, and if you look at what's in it or how it's made, that's often obvious, to me at least. So I wanted to do very high-end products that filled a niche for people like me who love to go out and ride their bikes, maybe run in the mountains, ski, whatever it might be. So from that, I started Enduro Bites, and it's been a wild ride since. Enduro Bites themselves are something we make every batch here in this facility by hand on a daily basis, so they're fresh. There's not a lot of talk with freshness when it comes to products. Most products are they're engineered to have at least a 2-year shelf life. And because of that, you have to engineer them a different way. You know, if you want something to withstand the zombie apocalypse, I tell people, go buy a box of Power Bars and Cliff Bars, and you can keep them in the trunk of your car all summer. Yeah. If you want fresh, high-performance food that tastes good, it's easy to digest, try Enduro Bites. That's what we're about. You know, we're making the product you would make at home if you had the time and ability to do so. And you know, then our next product was Beta Red, and Beta Red's kind of the same concept. You know, how do we develop a product that's going to benefit Enduro Bites athletes to use before workout? There's a lot of bodybuilding pre-workout supplements out there. They're almost all jacked with caffeine and or other stimulants, which can be pretty counterproductive. If you're trying to go and pedal your bike up a steep hill or run up that hill, you don't need something that's going to cause your heart race faster. So we want something that's going to get more oxygen to your muscles, which is beneficial at any elevation, but especially as you come up in elevation. You know, we're sitting at 6,000 feet. You know, we often will go up, I'm sure you too, ride 10,000 feet or higher. Yeah. So oxygen becomes more and more scarce. So with Beta Red, we can channel more oxygen to your muscles, working muscles, so you can perform better.
Nice. I know I personally notice a huge difference, not to talk about my own health, but I have vocal cord dysfunction. So vocal cord dysfunction basically just means vocal cords will contract, especially if I'm under any type of stress, which generally sometimes physical activity, especially racing, is a physical stressor. Or for example, when we had those wildfires the other year, or last year, I believe it was, really bad wildfires. So I get, it's a stimulation to my vocal cords wanting to close. So when your vocal cords close, you have less oxygen. So I've personally noticed a huge increase in just my ability to actually climb. And I can even feel myself breathing better. Maybe it's placebo effect. I'm not sure. You never know. But I notice a big difference when I do use the Beta Red before a ride. And it doesn't mess with my heart rate or anything like that, or make me nervous. Get a little tingle.
Does it affect the vocal cords closing, or is it despite them closing, you can still perform?
I can still perform. I feel like I can still perform really well. And I feel like I'm getting good breathing in and good breaths in on even a hardier climb. And I feel like it almost, like I don't have to get so winded with the Beta Red versus without. And I have in recent weeks noticed a difference because I've been kind of testing some heavier climbing rides with and without Beta Red. And I definitely noticed a difference.
Wow,
so it's kind of crazy.
I've never known anyone with that dysfunction.
Yeah.
Is that congenital?
They're not sure. I think there's still some research that needs to be done with BCD, but it was something that for years the doctors always thought it was just exercise-induced asthma. So they chalked it up with that, but none of the inhalers, steroidal, anything would benefit me. If anything, it just made me even more anxious. So it wasn't until I moved to Colorado a few years ago, finally went to National Jewish, which is the top respiratory hospital in the nation. So I figured, well, if anyone's going to figure out what's wrong with my respiratory system, they will. And within 5 minutes, he's like, yeah, you have BCD. It's, very easy diagnosis. They scoped me, everything, and tested me, and they confirmed it. So now I basically just needed to go to a speech therapist and figure out my breathing. So that's why breath work is so important to me and, my clients, whether they have BCD or not. And in terms of commonness, I'm not sure quite how common it is, but I know that now it's on doctors' radars to really look for BCD instead of asthma all the time.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's pretty
Thank you for educating me on that.
Yeah, no, it's really fascinating. You should look up BCD. It's fascinating, especially all the literature from National Jewish. They have quite a bit of stuff online. So cool. Yeah. I have another question for you though.
Okay.
What do you see for the future with Enduro Bites? Like, where do you want to take it? What's your next step?
We have several products that are currently in development. I don't want to say too much because sometimes people get excited. I get excited, and then whether it's packaging or something else, it becomes infuriating that there's this delay. But one is a departure or a variation of one of our existing products, and then we have some other products to support endurance athletes, whether someone's running, biking, swimming, cross-country skiing, what it might be. I would like to have I want to have a well-rounded family of products that can benefit people. I look at most hydration products in the market, for example. I don't have a hydration product that's imminent, but most are sugar, fructose, dextrose, yeah. Different names for the same thing in some cases, and some salt and flavoring thrown in with a whole lot of marketing spiel behind them. There are better ways to do nutrition products, hydration products. They cost more. That's the limitation. People want to make products for as little as possible and sell them for a good margin, and I don't blame them. Everybody wants to make money. But because they're often afraid of looking at ingredients that can be more effective because they will end up causing a higher end price. So, and it's part of it. I mean, it's just what people have been conditioned. People can be conditioned. You can buy Gatorade or whatever hydration formula that's come since for $20 a package. They're thinking that, they're never going to sell it to the masses for whatever it would cost to make something significantly better. And that's probably true. The masses won't buy it, but I'm not looking at products for the masses. I'm looking at products for people who really, really care about performance and want something that's going to make a difference.
That's what I love about you.
Thanks. I'm excited to have you try some samples of the things we have in the works.
Well, I'll be your guinea pig any day.
Deal.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for sitting down with me and talking. I really appreciate it. And next time you need to bring a bike.
Oh, definitely.
Because 2-3 minutes out the back door and we're on some awesome trails.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Loved seeing the kitchen since I've been using your product for years. But yeah, it's just been great.
Cool.
This won't be the last time.
No, and I look forward to sharing everybody some of the recipes we worked on today.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about that too.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks, Brian.